This class is at 11:30 to 12, and I have to make a change. I'm hoping that everybody can make the change with me. I have a request from my son who's in college, needs this space for 12 o'clock. He's got to have time to set up. So I just want to quickly make a note that we're going to be doing it at 11 o'clock. So that we finish at 11:30. He has a half an hour to get himself ready. Okay? It's an acting class that he has. So today we're going to do inversions, and not to scare anybody, not to make you worried about inversions. Inversions are really not that bad if you look at it the right way. So obviously headstands, handstands scare people. They're like, no way, can't even think about it. But when your head is lower than your heart, that is the definition of an inversion. And the blood starts to transfer and change direction, and pressures start to resort from below, mostly in the feet, ankles, knees, thighs, hips, lower spine, starts to change and reverse itself. And this is a very positive thing for muscular strength, posture, breathing, and circulation. So we start off our inversion class, and what we'll do is we'll start off with simple forward bends, because we're going to get to the point where hopefully where our head is lower than our heart. So I'm going to stand sideways and have my feet about hip-width apart, toes pointing straight forward. And I'm just going to hinge where my thighs meet the pelvis. I'm going to pull my chest forward. I'm going to start to lower myself down. And I'll slide my hands down my legs, keep my weight to my toes, so that my hips, as you can see, stay right over my knees, and the knees stay right over the ankles. As I let my head drop and dangle, I can feel the stretch going from my calves, my hamstrings, my hips, and my lower back. If you can't reach the floor, it's really nice to have a set of blocks around. Foam blocks. It helps support you. You can have them on their high end like this. If you need to be up higher, you can't really get it. But we're looking for straight legs, and we're looking for a straight spine. And as I fold forward, I want to keep that straight leg, straight spine as much as I can. So I may need to lift my chest a little bit, create more length in the spine before I go down. If I'm capable of changing the blocks to a lower level, then I'll do so. Release, rock forward. I want to use the breath. So we'll use the breath from the nasal breathing, not the mouth breathing. Inhale through the nose, expand the navel, side ribs, and chest. On the exhale, pull forward, releasing the breath out through the tip of the nose. Okay. You want to let your head dangle like a bowling ball on a thread, so that it's really released, no pressure in the neck. You don't want to look forward, there's a lot of stress to the back of the neck. Just let it go. If you feel like you need to cultivate the pose, and inhale, lift and lengthen. You can exhale and fold again and come back in. I recommend you do so as many times as you need. Feel your way into your tippy toes. Make sure your heels stay on the floor, kneecaps will lift it up in the thigh. Eventually, you might find yourself where you can touch the floor, you can palm the floor. Depends on your length, your flexibility. All right, inhaling, coming up. It's just as important to come out of a pose, or how you come out of a pose, as it is getting in a pose. You don't want to just be in a pose for a length of time that you start acclimating and getting used to it, and then suddenly just jump out. Because you can pull muscles, tear muscles, strain muscles, throw things out of alignment, your spine. So you want to use the breath on every movement. Exhaling to fold, inhaling to rise. Okay? I want to check this out for a second to make sure that everyone's here that's supposed to be here. We still only have two. Hopefully someone will come. All right. The next thing I want to do is take this to the ground. I wanted to start off with handstands, because they are the hardest aspect of inversions, and they require the most amount of energy, muscular energy. And we don't want to wait till the end when our muscles are tired and we're going to start doing the harder exercises. So what I like to do is start off in downward dog. Downward dog is like a handstand in an anchoring position, and it allows us to really take some pressure off our arms and shoulders, and then slowly we'll work our way towards handstand. So coming onto hands and knees, we start off with a 4-point stance, and then we move our hands and our wrist forward so that, I'll come back a little bit, so that the hands are forward of the shoulder base, about 4 to 6 inches. Okay? From there, we tuck our toes under in the back, keep your feet about hip width apart, and then you press yourself up and back with your sit bones, reaching. So I'm going to lift my knees off the floor, lift them up. I'm going to reach back. I'm going to start extending. You notice how my head starts going between my arms. So I reach back, get a full extension of the spine. I take a lot of weight out of my hands, and I'm really getting it down between my feet and my hands. Want the hips up in the air with the arms fully extended, and then from here we can working on walking the feet towards the hands so that the hips start to stack over the shoulders more. Okay, more into that Uttanasana, but heels are off the ground a little bit. Then I'm going to take one leg and I'm going to take it straight back. I'm going to lift it up in the air and try to raise it as far up as I can reach. I'm going to lower it back down. I'm going to shift my weight, take my other leg straight back up in the air, reach and extend, take a breath or two here, and then lower it back down. Coming back to the ground, give your arms a break, go for cat scratch. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders on the back. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the head, draw the navel up into the spine. You're getting a little bit of movement, flexion and extension in your spine, kind of cultivating the spine and the muscles together so that they're working together, opening it up. Every breath, every movement has a breath. So as I inhale, I'm going to pull forward like this into a back bend. As I exhale, I'm going to pull forward into a forward bend. Okay? We're going to get back into it. I just want to check the monitor again, make sure if anybody that I need to let in, it can come in. Still just me and Amanda. All right, so from here, you have to pick and choose what you feel comfortable with. So it's all a matter of experience and putting in time and effort. The muscles will acclimate eventually, but it's like taking medication. You have to take it by the right dose. If you don't take the right dosage, then you could overdose and you could hurt yourself. You could go beyond your capacity and get injured. We don't want you falling. We don't want you hurting yourself because you're no good after that. You have to be able to stay coming to class. So if I go to downward dog, my hands go to my shoulders. And I press back to downward dog and I get myself really up in the air with my hips. Nice and extended. From here, I'm going to experiment with raising the leg up in the air. Good extension of the arms, good reaching through the hips. But I'm still not able to get into a handstand because my feet are too far back. So I've got to walk my feet forward a little bit. From here, I'm going to take the leg up in the air and reach and extend. I might even be able to hop. I might be able to lift my legs up in the air. Okay? This takes time to practice. If you're not comfortable and you have a wall, let's say I have a wall here, I do, careful on this clock, I can take myself into position. I'll be up in a second. I can take myself up into position so that as I walk my feet close to my hands and I reach the leg up in the air, I'm going to take this leg up. I can reach and extend it all the way up to the air. Almost took the clock down. And I can practice taking my feet off the wall to hold the pose. So I recommend if you're on camera, just so everybody doesn't have to be exposed, you can tuck your shirt in. So we wanted to remove this. And we'll try it again. This time a little more smoothly, a little more, because I know I was going to hit that. Taking my hands to the floor, hiking up into the air with my hips, reaching through my sit bones to the ceiling, taking one leg up in the air, and gently come up, nice and easy. And breathe. Now, perhaps you're not going to do this. Maybe you won't come up in the air, you're not comfortable. Maybe your shoulders and your arms don't hold you. Just getting down into a nice downward facing dog with your hips up in the air, perhaps raising one leg up in the air is enough to get you comfortable, okay? I want to check again, make sure anybody I need to let in is going to be able to get in. Just the two of us still. The second exercise that I usually teach on inversions is headstand. It's very important in teaching headstand that you have the foundation correct. With a good foundation, you don't need a wall, but I recommend in the beginning to try a wall. You face your head towards the wall when you go to come up. But I'm so confident in my positioning because I've been doing this for so long that you're going to see. We start off in the same position, in a pike position like an A-frame. Except our hands get interlaced like this. And the pinky underneath on the bottom. Okay, let me get closer. The pinky underneath on the bottom, we want to tuck it underneath so that when you look at it, when you put pressure on the ground, there's no pressure on either of the pinkies. So interlace the fingers, doesn't matter which way you lace them. I got my right pinky underneath or my left. I tend to like the left. Tuck it underneath, put it in there. And then we're going to place the wrist, forearm, and elbow on the floor. So, coming into position, elbows are going to be no wider than shoulders width apart. How do you know that? Well, when I clasp my hands together and I put my hands on the ground, my elbows are no wider than my shoulders. You can see that in the camera. From here, you can turn around so you can see sideways. From here, if your foundation is supported well with this triangle, with the hands at the head and the elbows in the back, you can take the top of your head and place it gently on the floor so that the back of the head is supported by the hands like this. From here, you want to pike up into a post position like an A-frame, like we did in downward facing dog. And once your feet in, and then you can raise one leg in the air. Take turns, raise the other leg in the air. And if you're comfortable, when you go to come up, you can just comfortably raise up. If you're pressing down through your hands, your elbows properly, you're going to be very balanced. So I recommend you go to a wall if you want to try that. Otherwise, you can just practice the positioning from the ground. You can position yourself on the ground with your hands interlaced, elbows no wider than shoulders width apart, head down on the floor, and press down to your hands and elbows so your head doesn't take a lot of pressure, and then pike up into an A-frame. And you can practice taking one leg out or not. So feel it. Alternate. Good. So those are the basics on inversions. Let me just check out, see if anybody's here that I need to let in. Still nobody. Okay. It's all right. We're teaching this and it'll be sent out to anybody who wants it. So Inversions don't have to be scary. You start with the foundation, you work your way up, and in time, you will get stronger, more balanced, more confident, okay? So, a third type of inversion, which is sort of a combination of headstand and handstand, is a three-point position where your head is on the floor with your hands on the floor. It's a tripod, okay? I'm going to face you so you can see it. You can see it from the side too, but hands go on the floor. The head goes in front of it. I think it should go sideways. Hands on the floor. Head's going to go forward somewhere around here on the floor. Gently place my head on the floor. I'm going to take my toes, tuck them under, lift the hips up in the air, walk my feet forward. Now you can stay here. This is fine. You can come down anytime you need. Or you can raise the leg up. Or you can take one knee on top of your elbow and then gently place the other one, and you can stay like this. Okay? A lot of options here. You can take one leg in the air, or you can take both. Put it down gently. That's 4 inversions, including the Uttanasana and forward bend we did in the beginning. So lots of things to work on in inversions. You can do forearms. Let's say your wrists are bad. You're like, you know what? I like feeling my wrist, it hurts. We have exercise for that to strengthen and have flexibility for that. But if that's a problem, you can go on forearms, okay? So forearms looks like the Sphinx. So if I take my hand and my elbow on the floor, and I take my other hand and my elbow on the floor, and you can see in the video, in the picture, that my hands and my elbows are equidistant. They're parallel with each other. And if I were to pike up into a downward dog position from here, from the side view, so you can see it, I don't have to put pressure on my wrist really at all. I can just take my hips up in the air, walk my feet forward, and work with that. I can take a leg up in the air. I can hop. There's a lot of variations to work with. A lot of strength developing the shoulders. Inversion-wise, we have a lot of things moving through the blood. The pressure to the spine, as I mentioned earlier, normally the lowest part of the spine gets most of the pressure. You're really strengthening muscles that you normally don't get involved with. Okay, so hold on. Another couple of minutes. Inversions, like I said, are defined by the head being lower than the heart. So you don't have to do a whole lot of much of anything if you don't want. You can actually lay on your back, put your legs up in the air and have a block or a blanket or something like that. So let's just say I have this block. I'm going to put it on a low level. And I have my head down on the ground. I'm going to take the block and put it just this way, okay, lengthwise, but going towards my head. I'm going to put it underneath my butt. Okay? And then I'm going to make sure that my arms are on the ground, my shoulders are on the ground. I'm going to bring the knees into the chest. I'm going to raise my feet in the air. I'm still in an inversion because my head is lower than my heart. Now, it's not hard for me to do. Maybe the leg raise might be a little hard for some people, but you have support. You can use a blanket too if you don't have blocks. Okay? And then at some point, we can take this hip and raise it off the block. So I can take the feet towards my head, push down with my hands. can do all kinds of things. So the work is still there. The breathing is important, to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Very important. At the end of the class, I like to do a little bit of Shavasana or resting pose, but in this class, being that it's half an hour, we're not going to be doing that because we don't have the time really. Shavasana is somewhere between, usually between 5 and 8 minutes. Okay, and knowing that I have my son coming in a minute, I want to give him a few minutes to be able to set up for himself. So class will be in the future, however long that we continue to do this, will be at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. And that will give us enough time to really get in and get out so he's okay. I hope you can make it to class. I hope you learned something today about inversions. And as we always do at the end of class, namaste. Thank you so much.